Welcome to the Listening to Smile podcast. I'm Falyn Morningstar.
And I'm Ian Morris.
Today we are going to be talking about the power and the need for connection, specifically in community. And this one's a powerful one. This is our second one together here. And we wanted to address this right off of the bat because it is extremely powerful to talk about, right? We are human beings. We desire that connection, no matter if we're introverts, like some of us need to regenerate in silence or being alone. We still have this desire to connect, to feel safe, to grow with a quote tribe, right? So we wanted to take just a couple minutes here and kind of go into what we're doing to help build that community and build that connection. And if you're cool with it, I'm gonna kind of share like a personal story of how a community really helped me.
Yeah.
Okay. So
well, I was waiting for you to finish what you were saying.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, before we jump into the stories, I just want to say I think like one of the things that is important as Falyn and I have had conversations is basically shattering the notion of the self-made person. Like that's not really such a thing. And I think we want to focus, this short episode on the power of community and how, if you really look at the large picture, every person that claims to be self-made has had a community, a gatekeeper, some type of connections in their network or professionally that led them to that moment of true optimization. I believe that all of us have special gifts and all of us have special talents and abilities that allow us to do very unique and special things. And I think that we should all be proud of that and celebrate it. But I think today we're going to really focus on how community is really just such a powerful tool, and why it's playing such a role in what we're trying to do with our magazine, podcast, record label, and company. So
I love that you brought that up. So I remember probably a year out of college, and I was getting more into physical fitness and going to Planet Fitness, actually, like training. And I remember being introduced to a community. It was a private club, who I can share the name, Angelo's Private Club. And so they welcomed me in, and I'd say it was about 30 members or so, family-oriented type of warehouse-style gym. And that was extremely pivotal in my life because I had, just gotten out of a bad breakup, and it was very hurtful, right? It was very traumatic. And at the time, I had zero language around emotional expression or coping mechanisms, nothing like that. And it was really just about, the club did not pry, they didn't like get in your business, but they were stable. They were a strong foundation, in which I really needed that at that time. And so I have been a member there for 7 years now, right? And so we have grown together. We have had powerlifting meets together, outings, gatherings, Christmas time, cookouts, you name it. And so it's a continuous conversation that we're having to build that connection and that trust with one another. And it does take time, right? I think a lot of us have gone through very traumatic, experiences in different relationships where it's been unsafe or unstable, and it has caused us to be very resistant. It has caused us to create this protection around of our heart, even from kind of my functional health perspective. It maybe has caused our calcium level to shoot up into our soft tissue rather than be in our bones, because it's like our body's trying to create this protective mechanism to not be able to feel or process things. And I think a lot of us don't have those coping mechanisms, so it just gets stuck in us, right? And I think as we go through these episodes in this podcast, we're really going to reveal how we need to move that energy. So that club has been a pivotal part in my journey of feeling safe, and then being able to expand into more of my gifts. And yeah, so just wanted to share that story a little bit. But you want to talk about
yeah
how
well,
we're
well I
building?
think some of the templates that we're utilizing, we'll talk about the Frequency Minded magazine for a second. One of the things that Fallon and I always talk about is kind of, I'm coming from a creative, uh, side of things where I'm, a poet, musician, and an artist, and just have always been into creativity. And Fallon has been into movement of the body and getting into somatic exercises and the mental health side of things, and how that connection between um, the triggers of the body, that are actually seen on some of the data analysis that they do with their testing as an FDN. And how that movement of the body, the nutrition, the actual executions, the resolve, that you can come to from having that understanding. And I'm really coming from a side of feeling community on all levels. Like anything in the creative arts over the last 20, 25 years, I've done something in all of those things, working with municipalities, working with, Live After Five programs, art and music festivals, and, you know, setups for art galleries and concert venues, and traveling as a tour manager, all of these things. So I've seen a lot of things, and what we're doing with this magazine is merging our two experiences and viewpoints and perspectives. And the conclusion and the resolve of this, and the reason that we're doing this, is because the Reiki master and the painter are essentially pulling from the same energy. The creative, the movement, the trainers, the physical trainers, are having to be creative when they're working with clients one on one, and they have a stubborn client or someone who's just not listening but still showing up to go through the motions. How can I, as a coach, reach this person? And this is where creativity is this thin, this line that is connecting all of these things together. It's not only the energy that we're pulling from source energy and all of these different aspects, but we're also, all of us, the healers, the creatives, are all needing butts and seats, meaning that we need people to support our programs, to buy our painting, buy our music, or to show up at the FDN seminar and to learn more about how people can help themselves. So we need butts and seats, and we all are pulling from very, similar energy, source energy, in the works that we're doing. So we wanted to show in our magazine the similarities, and also our podcast and record labels and all of the things that we're working on. We wanted to show the similarities so that we could unite these communities and play our part the best way we can in that, and then to show people the power of community. If Fallon writes an article and I write an article and we put it out on our social medias and send it to our newsletters, we're reaching the same people each month. If we bring in 20 writers from around the world, and each one of those writers starts showing their articles and expressing, like, hey, I'm in this magazine, I'd love for you to check it out, then already you've gained 20 times the exposure that you would have gotten with just us writing our articles. And so we're trying to show the power in numbers in this way, through the magazine. And it's something that, we're already at month 2 now with the magazine, and it's already growing exponentially. And we've had some fantastic people that we've pulled together. And do you want to talk on that aspect, or you want me to keep going there? I thought you had something you wanted to say.
Sorry, I have a little bit of the sniffles going on, so
Okay.
my nose is like tickling sometimes. But
Mm-hmm.
I know just this the issue of September here, we had an LA musician who just had an album release called Headless. It's Carrie, forget his last name, but do you remember his last name? Clayton.
Yes, Clayton.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Carrie Clayton. We also had a Spanish artist, Belen Gasquiat, and she has just recently moved to Canada. And so, just as an example of sharing those two, they have very unique stories, and they are beautifully exemplified in the articles that were featured on them in this month. And so, they're sharing it with their communities, even with their families, because of course, when you're, when you have something, um, about yourself, right? You were like, heck yeah, I want to share this. I want to get this out. And so we're really trying to allow people to shine, and also trying to allow the magazine as this example to shine and create more of that community. But yeah, you can keep going. I just wanted to
Okay.
add that in.
Yeah, so I think, all of us want to be seen, and all of us want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves, relatively. I mean, all of us, I'm sure, in this space love to be in charge and be creative and to use our skill sets and to feel seen. But at the same time, I can tell you, all the things that are happening with the record label, the magazine, and the podcast would not be going if I was just a one man show. So, this is an example of how it takes more than one person to see a big vision come to life, and also for it to take flight. There are tons of networks that have to, that come into play for this magazine to be successful. It takes the artists and the writers and the poets and the musicians sharing, with their groups of people, and it takes other people being receptive to the vision and the vibe of what we're doing for it to be accepted and for it to be embraced. And so this is just one aspect of a template that really is relying on community and utilizing community to not only let others be seen, but also to help create and elevate a platform that has the potential and the vision to be a foundation for that type of growth. So this is just, some very small, minute examples of like why community is so important and just essential to success, I think, in today's market,
Yeah, and I will say, if you've been burned before, you might again be very protective of yourself, but it's kind of like that risk to benefit. No one's always going to be your cup of tea, but if you don't have a community as it is, and you're kind of longing for that connection, it does take courage to kind of step out of your shell and go, meet some people and interact with people. And you'll meet those golden nuggets, those people that are your people that you want to exchange energy with, and you can help them, they can help you. And that's really what it's about. And just allowing people to shine, right? Because it only amplifies yourself and everybody else more. And I know that um, just with our community, with the affiliate calls that we have once a month, and then we also have another call that's geared more towards the writers and the features of the artists and musicians. So there's still one large community, but it's split up into different segments to um, help people feel that light when they get to choose which area they'd like to go towards.
Yeah, so basically, we're hoping that this video reaches you and that you're able to see that there are some opportunities that you can be a part of with our platform. And then also, we're encouraging you, if you know writers, musicians, artists, poets, anyone, holistic practitioners that are needing community or wanting to express, their knowledge and share what they have, their gifts with the world. We're inviting you to check out the platform. So that website is listeningtosmile.com/FMM for Frequency Minded Magazine. And if you scroll to the middle of the page, you will see a subscribe where you can actually subscribe and get notified of all the latest happenings. But also on that same page, if you scroll down to the bottom, you will see where you can suggest a guest or a feature to the magazine, or if you yourself have something that you would like to share, that's where you would fill it out and hit us up so we can get in communication. So yeah, we are definitely going to elaborate on this deeper with a podcast coming up soon, but we just wanted to touch base on this, and this is really just an invitation for you to be a part of some of the festivities that we have going on. Yeah, please do. Yeah.
So another segue to that group is a women's circle. It's called the Sacred Feminine Circle, and that is starting here September 25th at 6 o'clock EST. And it obviously is geared towards females, and really I wanted to create this group, and thankfully Ian had encouraged me to do so, of finding this sacred circle where women can express themselves, whether it be a dysregulated nervous system, or you know questions about lab tests, or supplements or food related things, or just expressing themselves using that beautiful throat, that thyroid, that we have and maybe we felt suppressed before. And this is a very safe and really intimate, and I would say just intimate space where you can feel like you are in this womb, if you will, this womb of nurturing energy. And so, if that even interests anybody listening to this, please feel free to look at that. It's if you would go to falynmorningstar.com and just scroll down, you'll be able to see just more information about that. What we're looking at, sound is incorporated into some of our virtual sessions, somatic exercises. Really, the topics are not limited. It's really all about wellness and about you being able to be more confident, to figure out the answers that are stumping you, and maybe Western medicine doctors are not able to help. But it's really just a very inexpensive group that you can feel supported and get the answers that you're looking for. So that is just a once a month. But outside of sessions, certainly we are talking in our WhatsApp group, just like our community with Listening to Smile, is just to keep those touch points, right? To be able to communicate outside of our live calls, because we want to be a resource for you, right? we,
Yeah.
we want to. Ian is a beautiful connector. I see him all the time talking on phones like, hey man, I'm gonna connect you with this person, and that's really what it's about. So just wanted to mention that as well.
How can they find that sign up?
Yes, if you go to falynmorningstar.com, just continue to scroll down. It's all the way towards the bottom. It's called the Sacred Feminine Circle, and it is the fourth Wednesday of every month at 6 o'clock in the evening, Eastern Time.
Okay, so we just want to say thank you guys so much for spending 18 minutes with us, and we really appreciate all the support. And again, that website for working with the magazine is listeningtosmile.com/fmm. So again, thank you, and I hope you guys have an amazing night.
Bye bye.